Good morning. Welcome to another Memphis Monday, Memphis Monday 163. This episode I'm calling wood storage. I was cleaning out my wood storage cabinet, and it's kind of everywhere on me. And probably change the title later because I don't know the exact scope of the job and exactly what we're going to do. But we need to figure that out. So we need to come up with a plan and execute. But we're not going to get any executing done, are we? Unless we do what? That's right. Let's knock off the chit-chat and get to work. I was cleaning out my wood box, and there's a bunch of pine right there. It's cedar, poplar, and oak. And over on the other table, I got some strips of trim and also some plywood. Well, anyway, you can see the problem, and then here's my wood box, and I got all that stuff underneath my wood box. Let me clean out underneath this wood box and see if we can begin to get a plan. Well, I think I've about decided I'm going to try to add some extra shelves under here. I'm going to put all this wood here on this dolly we built a few weeks ago. Well, I think this is about what we're going to go with. We're going to put 2 shelves in here. That will give a total of 5 shelves in this thing, and actually 6 levels if you count the bottom. Before we begin to build the shelves, we got to solve this problem with these outlets. I got a couple of outlets, don't use them a lot, but they're very difficult to get to now, but they'll be really hard once I get those shelves in. So I'm going to put another receptacle in. Well, I got those so-called receptacles in. Of course, they're not receptacles. It's just a short extension cord with 3 plugs. That'll work for what I want, light duty. And I got where I want to put the shelves in. I got them in and all leveled up. Next step is to install these double cross braces across between the legs. These of course are horizontal, and then on top of those will be stringers that'll hold the shelving material. We're really getting a lot of our recycled wood used up here. This piece of wood here I'm putting in now is we get off that boat hatch. I'm using 1.5-inch staples, galvanized, and I got my pressure set at 125. We're using almost all recycled wood in this thing. This is an aromatic cedar board I tried to put together. I wasn't satisfied with the glue up, so I didn't use it, but we can use it for shelving now. And this is some of that wood, remember, we got off the old dolly, and I threw it up on top the wood rack. I don't think I mentioned it last week, but you know those two cutting boards we made? That was made out of all that recycled wood we did some time back. If you're thinking that this seems like an awful easy way to make shelves, The reason you're thinking that is because it is. I think a mistake folks make when they build shop shelves is they make them too heavy. I got all the cross braces in. Pretty fast and easy. Okay, now we're going to put these stringers in here. So we've got 2 stringers in the center, 1 stringer on the end, 1 stringer on the front, and we want them all to be the same thickness, and that's about 1 3/8 inches. Okay, I piled all my longest boards over here against the wall. It's 1.5 inches. That's 1.5 inches. So let's make them 1.5 inches. And the stringers go right in here. Center stringers are doubled up. There's 2 of them. And they're attached at each one of the cross braces by a block of wood that is attached to the cross braces with nails, and then it extends up here. It extends up 1/2 inch above the top of the cross braces, so you can nail the cross braces into it. I've got a little mark here on my fence, just drew in with pencil, and that'll make all these the right size. Make sure that I install the blocks in the right place. Made a little jig, little marking jig that will not only mark the position of where I want the block, but it'll also serve as a gauge for the height of the block above the cross braces. So what I'm doing here is I'm just using my jig here to measure. I've already marked where I want this little block, and then this jig will tell me how deep to make it, and I can fire it in with staples. So now we have a nailing surface for the middle stringers. So the middle stringers then get put in place just like the outside stringers. This stringer I'm installing now is so warped, it looks like a pretzel. But this design technique is so resilient that here it's you can see it's warped in 2 directions. It's warped this way, and it's also got about 6 inches underneath it here. But I should be able to pull it down and there you can see, even though it was warped to begin with, it's now perfectly straight. There you can see down the line. Okay, there's more framing I need. You can see this is the last stringer goes right underneath the edge of this plywood, but then you have to build the rest of this framing out to make your face front. But you can't install this until you get this plywood in, so you can make sure that your trim is exactly flush with your plywood. Well, before we cover it up with plywood, you might as well see the frame. Lightweight, strong. Made it all out of recycled wood. All that wood recycled a few weeks ago. First row was this first shelf was pretty easy. This one could be harder because I'm gonna have to put 2 sheets of plywood in here because that's about 24 inches. I don't have any sheet that's 24 inches wide. Okay, what I'm doing here is layering in whatever scrap wood I can find to, this is recycled pine and this is recycled oak, and kind of layering it in here we build out to the frame here. So when we put our face frame up here, it'll be flush. These are the face fronts for the cabinet, and they're a little bit thicker than that clear pine I have in there. So I'm going to take a skim cut on them, thin them down just a little bit, not much. I don't plan on putting doors on this thing because I think the doors would be in the way down here, but this face front will give it more of a finished look, I think. I'm using 15 gauge finish nails. The rest of this thing is stained in color called natural, and this is cedar, our new shelves. This has cedar on the front, but we'll try to match it best we can. Well, that's our 2 new shelves, built in the same system as the rest of our shelves. Put in 2 new outlets here for plugging stuff into. Strong, light. It's the same system we used when we built those cabinets over there. So it came out pretty nice. I went ahead and put a finished front on it. So in case I do want to put doors in here, I can. Right now I'm not planning on it because I think they'd be in the way down here low like this. But anyway, that's it. Well, that'll do it for another Memphis Monday, Memphis Monday 163. Our two new shelves we put into our wood cabinet. You guys are always so nice to me. When I originally built that wood cabinet, one of my viewers wrote a little comment and said, you know, being real nice, said, "Are you sure that's going to be adequate for your future needs?" And I gave a ridiculous answer. I said, well, my plan was to only buy enough material to finish a project, so I wasn't going to be carrying a lot of extra wood. As soon as I send on that comment, I said, you know, I'm going to have to add shelves to that thing, and I'm going to look silly. So here I am looking silly. Well, anyway, pretty satisfied with our cabinets over there. It's one of those projects you can do without a fancy shop. You can build the whole thing with screws and hand tools. It's very strong, easy to build, and so forth. Well, I'm just rambling on. Make sure you do all the things you do on the internet, like and share and follow and Facebook and tweet and all that other stuff. But most important, make sure you're back here next week for another exciting Memphis Monday. Thanks for playing along.